Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who We Ood, an unofficial Doctor Who watch-along podcast. As always, my name is Ben, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Cam. How you doing today, Cam?
One, you said back again? Like again, Ben. We don't know if they're coming back. This could be a first-time listener.
Well, I'm assuming that they'll kind of come back week after week for the next few years, getting a head start.
Until we get to Lux.
Also, chances are, this is not going to be the one that people click on that, ooh, they're talking about Image of the Fendahl. I gotta see that.
This is somebody's favorite story, Ben.
Like in general, or like someone
No,
that
no, no.
is
I'm
like,
saying every Doctor Who story is somebody's favorite story.
really? You think Colony in Space is someone's favorite?
Some sticker out there is like, oh yeah, Calling in Space. That's my favorite. I watch it every fucking month.
That's true. Isn't it like, didn't you say like Death to the Daleks is Nicholas Briggs' favorite? I don't know
It's loved.
what
That
that.
story is loved, Ben.
It's not just him.
No, there's multiple people that love that story.
What? I don't get
Yeah.
it.
No idea, Ben. It's a bad story. I think it's part of the problem is that it was one of the first stories to be released on VHS. So I think just people have nostalgia for it because of that fact. That's like, oh, this was one of my first Doctor Who stories that I ever watched. So they are blindsided by nostalgia glasses, Ben, that we don't
Guess.
have. We don't have those nostalgia glasses. We just go, God, this is rough.
I was looking somewhere. I think the first story to be released on home video, period, for God knows why, was Revenge of the Cybermen
Do you want to know why?
on Betamax. And VHS? Do you know why?
Because basically, I think this is what the story is, that they put out a poll for the Doctor Who fans. They said, what is like your favorite story or the story you? I forget if it was either their favorite story or the story they most wanted on VHS. And I think it was Tomb of the Cybermen. And of course, they at this time Tomb of the Cybermen was a lost story. Said, oh, what's another Cyberman story that we could put out? So they put out Revenge of the Cybermen instead.
Really?
I think that's a story that I heard, but also I think it would have been around the time of Earthshock. So like maybe they were just like, okay, we gotta release it because of the Cybermen are now big. Let's just put out the last Cyberman story. Not knowing, man, not knowing that it was not a good one. But again, one of those stories on paper, it sounds great. Tom Baker, Sarah Jane Smith, Cybermen, right after Genesis of the Daleks. This is gonna be a classic.
On paper, it's a great story, but it's just bad.
But today we're not talking about Revenge of the Cybermen, man.
No, for that, you'll have to tune into episode 31 today for our 50th main episode, not a bonus episode. We are talking about Image of the Fendahl, which it was broadcast from October 29th to November 19th, 1977.
Ben, I'm so happy that we just every week just piss off those people from the United Kingdom. It's just in their dumb system of how to do month, date, and year. It's not the right way, Ben, what they do.
It's like metric. Like I get it. It makes more sense. I'm with you, but it's just not what I'm used to, and I can't stop.
Why would the first number be the one that changes the most? And is most important to look at.
It's in like order, so it's like day, month, year.
But no, but like that's the one that changes the most also. So it's the one that you kind of have to pay attention to the most.
Yeah,
But like, nope, we're just stubborn Americans, and you know what? It's good
I
just to have
guess.
the little number. It kind of goes from size in a way for most of the days in the year. It's just like, okay, we're going to the smallest number to the biggest number.
It's a strange logic that makes sense only to us. But we're not talking about dates. This was written by, I think every time we feel like we're going to botch this, but I'm going to try. Chris Boucher? Chris Boucher? One of those,
You did
probably.
it good, I think, the first time. The second time, you completely fumbled the bag.
Boucher? You think it's Boucher?
That sounds Like it should be right.
If that feels like it's probably good. He also wrote Face of Evil and Robots of Death last season.
Yeah, he did. I was listening to another Doctor Who podcast. Who knew I was listening to the episode with Robert Sherman because he just did an episode with Chris Chibnall. So I was like, oh, I'll go back to his other episodes. So I did listen to his Robert Sherman episode. Robert Sherman brought up this writer because this writer later on went on to write a couple of BBC books for the Past Doctor range. He was like, well, everyone loved his stories, and the fandom was like, oh my God, he's writing new Doctor Who. And then like the fandom does not talk about those BBC novels at all, just because it's like they're fine, they're okay. One of them is even a sequel to Robots of Death, but like you don't hear fandom talking about them at all. I was looked at time scales, and like those books have like I don't even think like 5 people reviewed them. Like
Damn.
very small amount of the fandom even cares about just barely reading them.
Well, we need to check them out then.
Oh
We need
God.
to break new ground.
But there's good Doctor Who out there, Ben. Why would we go to the bad Doctor Who expanded universe stuff?
You think all those novels are bad?
Probably not bad, but probably just not memorable, and just probably just like you probably read it and just be like, it's fine. It's a Doctor Who book.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those, both the Virgin and the BBC books, a lot of them were like monthly releases,
Yeah.
so pretty like disposable. But there's definitely some good stuff there. Stuff that is known and stuff that is a hidden gem, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Perhaps we will check more out someday.
Oh, we definitely will.
In between Survival and the TV movie, we're going to do all 60, 70 something Virgin New Adventures, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. This is gonna become. We're gonna do a 3-year pit stop on just Virgin books,
Yeah.
and then 8th Doctor books, and then Big Finish. So we're not getting the new series until like 2030.
Yeah. It's in order, Cam. That's the order. This was directed by George Spenton Foster, who will go on to direct The Ribose Operation, but this is his debut.
I think it's the Reboss operation,
I'll take your word for it.
but I might be wrong because I haven't seen it.
And produced, of course, by Graham Williams. And getting into it, Cam, what do you think of Image of the Fendahl?
I wanted to love this story. I was like, oh my God, okay, this is a Robert Holmes gothic horror episode. This is gonna be great. This is actually his last series. I mean, this is his last episode that he will do as script editor because they shot Sunmakers before this. So like they made this after Sunmakers. So this is like the story that he gave the keys to Anthony Reed, who would become the script editor after him. So this was the one that he kind of shadowed him under. And Robert Holmes was like, okay, that's how you do it. And you can kind of feel that, like last week we talked about how The Invisible Enemy was not a Robert Holmes, Philip Hinchcliffe failing episode. But this, we're going back to that gothic horror Doctor Who episode goodness. But I don't think it works as well as season 13 and 14 episodes. Even though it has kind of all the makings of those episodes, I just don't think this episode, pace wise and just overall like substance wise, makes it go to those heights of which I thought it was maybe going to be, just because it's a gothic horror Tom Baker Doctor Who episode. That script written
Mhm.
by the guy that did 2 stories in season 14, and Robots of Death was really good. And then also it's Robert Holmes, like, but I don't think all those elements really landed there in this final product, even though I know some people love this episode, but I really didn't love this episode. I just thought it was kind of meh. What do you think, Ben?
I liked it. I thought it was not astounding, not amazing, but quite good even. I really love the like mystery to it. We don't really know what's going on until like the end of part 3. We don't see the main monster until part 4. It doesn't have quite the vibes, I agree, as especially some of that season 13 and 14, but it's reminiscent enough, I think. I think all the characters were quite good. The one-offs even. I quite enjoyed it. What to discuss first? Characters. First off, I thought it was strange. K9 isn't here. Or, I mean, he is. He's just, broken down. He's got to fix him. But also, there's a universe to save, so that'll have to wait. I thought K9 would be like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it right away. Which I looked into it. It was when Chris Bosher was writing this. It wasn't known that K9 was going to be joining the TARDIS crew. So that was a last minute addition just to throw him in at the beginning and the end. That makes sense. Was kind of looking forward to seeing what a story that K9 as a true companion would look like. But I guess we will see that next episode. Are you disappointed you didn't get K9?
No, because I have seen other episodes of this type of the Graham Williams era. I know that this is kind of parkour strat. You're going to say that K9 is not really used that much, or when he is used, it's very minimal. Because you have to remember, it's like this. It's difficult to work with this prop. It's not like the easiest thing in the world. And also, if you're a writer, you're not going to really be like, "Oh, you know what? I want to give K9 all the time in the world." You're going to more care about the human characters in the story. So it's like you're going to see a lot of K9 in the TARDIS, Ben.
He pops in every now and then, but he's not like going on an adventure with them.
Some episodes, but then there's others like this where it's just going to be like okay, we see him in the TARDIS at the beginning, and we see him at the TARDIS at the end, or oh, they go back to the TARDIS. Oh, K9's in the TARDIS.
Wow. But he's the doctor's dog.
Even in this episode, it's like I don't even, is John Leeson? No, John Leeson's not even in the voices him in
No.
this episode. It's just like at the end, you can tell that they don't want to pay him or they couldn't get him, so it's just like he just like shakes his head up and down, and
Yep.
not a good effect way. It looks like somebody is just manually just cranking his head up and down.
Yeah. Next episode, Sunmakers get hyped for K9. Presumably, I don't know.
I don't know anything. Sunmaker is one of those stories I have really nothing about except for one thing I'm not going to spoil. So like, it's going to be interesting.
All I know is there's the bald guy. Presumably, they're making a son or something.
Ooh, you might be onto something there.
What do you think of Leela this episode?
I want to bring up before we go to that because I feel like we have to start off right from the bat. We got two new costumes. We got a new Leela costume and we got a new Tom costume. What do you think of the new
Is it a new
costumes?
Tom?
Oh yeah, it's a new Tom costume.
Leela first. I didn't know they could do it. They made even a more skimpy outfit for Leela.
You think it's more skimpy?
It seems like she has more cleavage to me.
Like
Like it's very low cut.
I don't know. I think the other one is the other one. The problem with the other one is it's just the other one's tight. This one I think is better just because it's like it is still it is a dress. The other one is just it is what it is.
I suppose it's not like tribal skins that are just covering enough. It is
Yeah.
a dress.
But like you said, they definitely don't shy away from giving her cleavage area in this one, where I think the other suit it's still there, but it's not as bad as the dress. The dress is pretty revealing, like you mentioned.
Maybe just it's because it's more like skin toned. It feels more. I don't know, but yeah, it's there. Tom's I didn't notice. I thought maybe the scarf looked a little wider. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you what's different.
So he doesn't have like any like neckerchief or anything. He's raw dog in it. I think that's a new waistcoat, and I think I might be wrong, but I think that's a new jacket as well. I think the jacket is like a little bit. It's not like the last one where it's like a little bit thicker. This one looks a little bit more thin. I'm gonna look it up real quick, Chris, because I know there's cosplay fans will talk about the new outfit. Oh no, it is a new scarf. So that's what was that's the big thing is that it is a new scarf. I think that is the same. So I did screw that up. So I think it is the same waistcoat, and it could still be the old jacket. But the big thing now is that It's a new shirt, new
Yeah, he's
shoes,
got like a blue shirt.
and then like he has that scarf that is it's wider, and then also it has different colors,
Mhm.
which I don't really dig it, to be honest. I more like the old scarf. This scarf it's a little bit too wide for me. Like the fact that he can't do his traditional like, you know, 2 strands in this one. He kind of has to like he has to have like one strand and like the other one has to like wrap around him almost. Like it's like a fucking what is it called that you like you put your arm over when it's like your arm's broken.
Like a sling?
Yeah, it's like it looks like kind of a sling with how wide it is over to his one side.
Yeah. It's not too it's different enough where, you notice it, but not so much that it's, like, distracting.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I probably prefer the old one, but it's not that big of a deal.
I still think that, like, for me, him in Pyramids of Mars is his best look.
Mhm.
That's the one that's like that's the iconic Tom look. But we will see. We will expand on this later in the next coming seasons when he gets more and more new looks.
Like, new looks or just, like, little tweaks here and there?
Yeah, he has little tweaks here and there until season 18 where he gets his like red velvet look.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's like the big change. When it's like, nah, we're in the 80s now. He can't be multicolored.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah.
It's not as good.
What did you think of Leela this episode?
Leela, she was good. Leela's good. Leela is a good companion. I don't think she's a great companion, but like she's a good companion. She does her job well in the story of just being a little bit more in command of things, in control. When she has her B plots, she usually is the one that's taking she has action. She can handle herself. Like there's that scene in I think part 2 where she has like the shotgun in her hand. But except for that, like she's fine, I guess, this episode. There wasn't anything really stand out to me about her in this episode. Was there anything that stood out to you in particular about her in this episode? Except for she new outfit and also she has like very short hair this episode.
Yeah, I noticed that she seemed to be kinda like it's hard to describe. She kinda has like a attitude where at times she's like humoring an old man, but also kind of like protective of the doctor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's very protective of
Like
the
she says,
doctor.
like, "Do not
And
worry, doctor. I shall protect you."
yeah.
And I really love her line in I think it's like part 2 where she says, "Oh, the doctor can help you. He's very difficult sometimes, but he has great knowledge and gentleness." It's definitely, like we've talked about before. It doesn't have that electric chemistry, but I feel, they have a good bond.
Yeah. It was gonna always be hard to replace Sarah Jane Smith, and they do a good
Yeah,
job with how they replaced her. And what's her name? Why am I blank on her name, Ben?
Louis Jameson.
Louise Jameson does do a good job performing that role.
Yeah, and I kind of like her quick to fight nature as well in this, where she's very quick to
Yeah.
be like, "There's a guard, I'll kill him," and that is like, "No, stop."
I think it's a good change that like I think they understood that after Sarah Jane, they still needed a strong female character, but they needed to do something different with that. So they did do that twist. I think it's a good going from Joe to Sarah to Leela. There's you get a good three different flavors of companions in that.
Absolutely. What about the doctor? Other than his new scarf, how was he?
Oh, but Tom is just Tom.
Tom was always great.
Tom is just always great. This one is also one that he doesn't want to like die and not want to be there. Like he obviously is just having fun.
Oh yeah,
And there is there's a couple moments here that he is great.
like offering a jelly baby to the skull.
Oh no, definitely that's the standout moment of this whole serial of just and it defines so much of the Fourth Doctor. And also, Ben, the Doctor with a gun is something that
Why he keeps picking up the gun? I don't understand.
like it's pretty much he doesn't like guns is a core fundamental thing of his character.
And he keeps picking them up.
Phantom always talks about him killing the Ogron in A Day of the Daleks. But Phantom does not talk about how much Tom Baker's Doctor, for the Fourth Doctor, loves guns. He loves them and not like he doesn't shoot them, or if he does, he doesn't shoot them at like. But he also this episode he shoots it at the Fendahl. So like,
I mean, you could argue it's salt, not like a bullet, but it does kill the Fendaline.
like he loves guns, Ben. That's all I have to say. And there's something that kind of out of any of the doctors, he's the one that kind of is like, okay, I can picture him with a gun, just weirdly enough, just because Tom is that crazy.
I mean, he doesn't really seek them out, but if it falls into his hands, he'll utilize it.
Yeah. Where there's other doctors where it's like, I can't picture a gun with like the fifth doctor or like the seventh doctor, but Tom's gonna use that shotgun.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't have the past couple episodes. It's not even like the third Doctor, where it's like, oh, it's a science fiction like laser gun. It's like, no, Tom just handles just pure
He's
guns.
packed.
Like this isn't like a science fiction gun. Like that's one, or like the one in Android Invasion. It's not like his gun in the Deadly Assassin. That's like, oh no, that's a science fiction laser gun. It's like, no, that's a shotgun that he shoots.
Yeah, quite a few. What about the other characters here? Any that you like?
Think that I'm having like a name. Look it up. Thea, Thea is good. Thea is good, and Wanda gives a good performance
Hmm,
this whole serial. Do you know who her son is, Ben? Wanda Ventham.
do not.
Wanda Ventham's son is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? I quite liked the old woman, Martha, who's kind of witchy and she knows the old ways. Let me do some divination. Yeah, she was kind of completes the image that this serial is forming of this like occult magicy ancientness, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She fills a role in the story quite well. And she's kind of funny at times.
Yes, but also like that weird thing of just like of course us being American, we don't see this, but like is that I don't imagine if like if you were from the country in Britain, would this be offensive?
Offensive?
Maybe. Yeah, because like oh yeah, people from the country all like they have that accent is like if you have a thick accent, you're fucking crazy. Like and you believe in magic and shit. Like I don't know. I don't know what British people think, Ben. I'm not British.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I feel like I don't know if this particular character would be the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, there's been a lot of like weird, kooky people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they all did a pretty good job. Fendelman is good.
Yeah, and then, Max is good as well. But I don't think that, like, any of them are, like, really extremely memorable side characters. There's nothing here that's like, "Oh my god, this is, like, one of the greatest side characters in Doctor Who." It's just
No,
like, they all kinda just work out fine for the story.
they're quite competent, I would say.
Yeah. Competent is a good word to say.
How about the monster?
I think that they had the problem that you already mentioned of just like, way too late. Way too late. It's just
Is that
like
I mean, I didn't necessarily think it was a problem. I kind of thought the build up kind of worked.
see, I'm a sucker, Ben. I come to Doctor Who.
You want that instant gratification?
I want that because like again, I'm a new series baby, Ben. New series baby. We're getting a monster in the first like 2 minutes of the story for like the pre credit like cliffhanger. I'm just like, ooh. It's like for this, it's just like, give it to me sooner.
I suffered through.
It's just it's hard where it's just I think that personally this story if we talked about the changes I would make to the story. I would like the story better if keep part one the same. Cut down part two and part three into one pot. because I felt like that's where the story really dragged the most, is that those 2 pots, like, but at least by give me a monster by pot 2, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I wish that they cut down that middle section, the 2nd act into, like, just keep it into that 2nd pot. 3rd pot should just be like, then the 3rd pot should just be, like, giving us more of the monster element, the what do we call them, Ben? The Fendahl.
The like worm creatures are Fendaline, and the gold woman is the Fendel core.
But give us more of the Fendahls, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me more to them, because when we do get them, it's kind of hard just because it's kinda at that point of the story, just kinda story kinda once we are introduced to them, the story kinda just has to wrap up by that point anyway, so it's just like, I wish we were able to spend more time with them and get, like, a whole pot that with that, so that we build the stakes, so then when pot 4, when this it really creates a big suspense, and the story just ends at that point, where I felt like with this one, it was, it kinda just we saw them, and then by that point, the story was already over.
Yeah, it does kind of wrap up pretty quick, but I don't know. I still think the mystery and the suspense works. Like I suffered through like 7 episodes of the Web Planet Camp. This is a brisk, quick story. But yeah, I think I like the design of the Fendel core that Thea turns into. The painted eyes, very potentially iconic.
Yeah, it fits the vibes of the story well, also.
Yes, definitely. The Fendaline, the worm-like creatures. I don't know. You know, talking about the best and worst special effects, I think the Fendaline is leaning towards the worst. A little bit paper mache, cheap looking.
Yeah, it's kinda like them doing the maggots, but worse.
Yeah. Ambitious for sure. Like they're trying to get like the
Yeah.
tendrils at the mouth, but it just looks like they stuck a little fan in there that is blowing bits of paper.
And if we're talking about special effects, man, I just wanna point out something that I think I'm gonna say a lot about the Graham Williams era. My god, that entire set looked cheap this episode. It looks so cheap, Ben. Remember how nice the season 14 TARDIS looked? It looked so nice and didn't look cheap, and it was, like, actually kinda well lit, while this one is just like, it looks awful, Ben. This is one of those episodes of the TARDIS isn't in its full glory. It's just kind of one of those ones where they found enough space in the studio to be able to put it up.
Do you know how long we have this set?
I think this is the set till this. I don't actually know, to be honest with you. I think we stayed with the set for a while.
I'm looking on a fan site right now where it breaks it up. 1, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, which is this one. And then the next one is 20, which I don't know if that means there are no revisions between now and then or if it's just more minor. It's definitely worse than the season 13 White TARDIS.
Yeah, even like the TARDISes that like remember season 8 and the Three Doctors. Remember how good that TARDIS looked?
Yeah. It is what it is. We'll have to live. Any other special effects worth mentioning?
I think that I would say the first special effect in this is the TARDIS, or it's the Fendaline. And then the best one is the also no, actually no, the worst special effect of this whole thing is the time rotor. The time rotor in this one looked awful. It looked or it's or it's K9's head going up and down.
I mean, the time like I noticed in particular this one, it's very not
Shaky.
smooth. It's very shaky, which it's never been silky smooth, but it seemed
No.
particularly rough.
Yeah. I would say the best one is the episode 2 cliffhanger when Tom has like his hand over the skull, the skull like lighting up.
Yeah.
That looked awesome.
The skull glowing effect, I would agree was pretty good. And anytime it was like interacting with Thea, where it's like
Yeah,
overlaying the skull in her face and her like transforming at the end, I thought both of those ended up looking pretty good.
I would agree.
So you definitely think the Fendal need to be sooner to make this story better.
Oh no, definitely. Like this needs is more of that to be able to give this another kick. It needed that, like it needed to be that in introducing part three and have more of a greater suspense to really build it up. So then part three lives out of a big cliffhanger, and then we get to four, and then that's when we get the more of the resolution and falls down.
Yeah.
If you look at like a plot graph, it's kind of like this episode. It's like imagine it's like the first three parts is it just go rising, 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 and then all the way at like the the like halfway through part four is the fall. It's like it's such a quick like build. It's a lot of build up for a very quick ending.
Agreed. I thought it would have been more interesting. They've really just briefly touch on it. This whole thing with like its origins, like there's this fifth planet and the Time Lords like covered it up. He tries to like go there, but it's in a time loop or something. I don't know. I was intrigued but kind of confused. Some more of that could have been interesting. All right, Cam. The question now is, does this story in particular have an impact on the future of Doctor Who or on Doctor Who as a whole? Do the Fendahl come back?
No, but Russell T Davies had said multiple times that like he had this. He said when he before he took over the show again, I remember him saying on multiple interviews, he was like, "You know what? I wish I." They were when he was asked the question, it's like, "What do you wish you could have done?" His answer a couple of times was, "What I wish I could have done was do a sequel to a classic serial." An example he would bring up, I think he did it multiple times. I know he did it for certain one time, was Image of the Fendahl. And of course, he did that later on with the Empire of Death and then Pyramids of Mars. Because he was like, oh no, yeah, you would then re-air it again, which he of course did with Empires of Mars. Sorry, Empire of Death. He then re-showed Pyramids of Mars, and he's probably going to do that again this season with the Ronnie if the leaks are true. And but the question is now what episode the Ronnie's going to do. We're going to have to see about that one.
Cool.
That's the influence of Image of the Fendahl, I think, has in all of Doctor Who as a whole. It's that obscure Russell T Davies interview fact. There's this one guy on Twitter, Ben. You probably haven't seen it. That was a fantastic parody of Russell T Davies doing interviews. It's like the greatest thing in the world. This guy, stand-up job, makes me laugh. Shout out to that guy.
I'm looking on the TARDIS wiki. There is an Island of the Fendahl Eighth Doctor story and a The Taking of Planet 5 Eighth Doctor adventure novel. So it's mentioned, but it's pretty small. So would you like them to bring them back?
Maybe. I think maybe it could be interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But also I don't think that like they warranted that much, you know?
Anything more to say about Image of the Fendahl, or should we wrap things up and talk about cliffhangers?
I do want to just point out real quick that, like I mentioned at the beginning, of just how this kind of feels like a season 14 story, just because of the gothic horror stuff.
Yeah,
But I think that one of the things that lets it down is George Spenton Foster. I don't think he's particularly that great of a director. I wasn't wowed by the visuals this episode and just creating a mood. I think another director, like imagine if the story was directed by David Maloney or a Douglas Camfield, like they would have created a lot of atmosphere in this story, and I
yeah,
feel like they probably would have made it feel less cheap. Whereas I think that's going to be something it's going to be consistent throughout the Graham Williams era of just like he doesn't pick directors that are able to get past that cheapness of the budget of Doctor Who.
yeah. When it's directed well, you can tell that it just has a different energy about it.
But I don't think this is one of those episodes.
Sadly not. I'm again looking at the wiki though. Tom Baker described George Spenton Foster as a lovely camp old thing. So he can't have been all bad.
Also, something I found funny about reading the Wikipedia of this, I didn't pick it up, but they never mentioned how Tom Baker got out of the closet. The doctor got out of the closet that he was locked in
Yeah.
serial. Terrence Dicks did make sure to to make a reason for him giving out in the book. So don't worry about that when you read Image of the Fendahl novelization,
I
Ben.
was worried about that. I assumed that like Thea busted him out, but I guess no, she was looking for him still. I don't know. I assumed someone did because he didn't. Like the sonic screwdriver wasn't working.
It doesn't work on wood.
I don't know, but cliffhangers, Cam.
Da-da-da-da-da!
Oh,
That's the cliffhanger theme, Ben.
that's the theme.
Oh
We
yeah.
gotta get Ryan to write that.
Oh no, I do the theme.
Oh,
It's acapella every episode.
gotcha. All right. Well, the first one, Leela is shot at, and something is approaching the doctor, who's seemingly frozen in fear.
Ooh,
And the doctor is compelled to touch the skull and cries out in pain.
the best cliffhanger.
Agreed. The third one is a giant Fendaline attacks the doctor and company. I mean, I think that one's fine, but the second one is
Yeah.
most iconic.
Like we said a lot in Pyramids of Mars, or at least I said a lot in Pyramids of Mars episode. Tom just is a great pain actor. He knows how to portray like, I'm in pain. It's like he's really good at doing that. So watching him as the doctor in pain is just fun to watch as an audience member.
Yeah. All right, Cam, it's time. How would you rate this story?
Okay. Is this better than The Invisible Enemy? Yes. Is this as good as Face of Evil? No. Is this story as good as Planet of Evil? That's interesting. I would say no. So I'm going to go 6.9.
So better the invisible enemy, but still low.
Yeah. I did not love this story, man.
Really.
I thought it was just an okay-ish story.
I liked it more than the invisible enemy, I would agree. Is it better than Santaran Experiment? Sure. Is it better than The Face of Evil? I think it's, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I think it's good.
Join us next week as we see Robert Holmes leave his seat as script editor. Like I said, kind of he did this episode, but in release order, this is where he leaves the seat
Yes.
for the Sunmakers.
So tune in for our 51st episode next week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave us a comment, tell us about what you thought of this story, tell us when you first watched it, tell us what Doctor Who means to you, and how sad you're going to be when it goes off the air for the next decade.
Decade, Ben. I think it's gonna be that long.
I mean, who knows? 89 to 2005 was a long time.
Well, you have the TV movie in there.
Yeah.
But then again, it's gonna be very funny if that does happen in the history book. It ends with Doctor Who ends for a prolonged period with the war between the land and the sea.
What if we get Disney says, "All right, yeah, no, we're done with Doctor Who, but we will commission the War Between the Land and the Sea season 2."
But also, like, I just hate that. Like, if we are gonna go that long without Doctor Who, like, I don't think we are gonna go
No.
that long. But just like the rumor is that it's gonna end with Judy's regeneration. So it's just like, just leaving on that a regeneration cliffhanger for that long is gonna be fucking hard.
Eh,
Gonna be hard, Ben. I'm not gonna like that, Ben. Not gonna like it one bit.
it'll probably be a couple years no matter what. Like they're not recording anything right now.
No, that's the big thing is that like we're gonna at the moment we're gonna be lucky if we get a 2026 Christmas special.
Eh. If he, I mean, we're in an epilogue at this point, but if he does regenerate, is there anyone that we know of that could possibly be the 16th Doctor? Any rumors or speculation?
I don't think that they're even casting at this point.
Well, if he filmed the regeneration scene, then we have to have a new Doctor.
Well, no, because they did the same thing for Jodie's regeneration. They filmed the regeneration without knowing who the next Doctor was.
Oh, and they like,
So like they only filmed like that, like him, going to the pose and being like, I'm regenerating. But like we haven't got like I don't think they know either. I don't think Russell has any idea who the next Doctor is going to be.
well, when the final episode of this season comes out,
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna end with him regenerating when he's not gonna get a new face
Like mid regeneration?
mid regeneration.
Oh, interesting.
That's the rumor at the moment. And it's like I don't know if that's gonna be years on that. Ah, I don't know. That's gonna be
Are
hard.
there any presumably British actors that you would want to play the 16th Doctor?
No, because my goal, not my goal, my hope would be someone completely unknown. Someone that's like the Doctor Who at its best is a role that's like some guy that's just like basically unknown actor,
Propelled into
does a
stardom?
little bit of theater here and there, and then he's just like big stuff. Like Matt Smith was that example, and like even David Tennant to a point. David Tennant was like he was gonna be big, but like he wasn't a household name when he was Doctor Who. Doctor Who made him a household name. He was in Goblet of Fire, but like nobody was like, oh my god, David Tennant in Goblet of Fire, you know?
He was in Quatermass.
But like there's a I have no idea who I would want. Because like I feel like a lot of people have like those big celebrity ones, and it's just like, no, I don't want a big celebrity.
You want them to find some struggling actor off the street and have him come in for an audition.
Oh yeah. No, like someone Joe Maden's a good example of just like Joe Maden is just not, she's not a household name. It's like give me something more like that of just like that the everyone just goes and the whole fandom's like, who? Even Shooty was kind of a big one that was like I like a lot of some people were like who, but like a lot of people were like, oh, it's the sex ed guy, which of course nobody thought was gonna be the Doctor. But we will see. The question now is just gonna be who is it? Is it gonna be another woman? Is it gonna be another person of color? Is it gonna be
What if it is Joe Martin? The fugitive Doctor is the 16th Doctor.
like are they gonna go back to a white male? Can you go back to a white male? I don't know. I really don't. Because we kind of feeling like it would kind of feel going backwards going back to a white male.
What about an Asian woman?
See, I get like, like it would be it would feel insane, but also like I don't know. I generally have no idea. I feel like what they probably gonna do, which they did last time, is they just auditioned almost everyone under the sun for that role.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're gonna do this next time. But again, I don't even think since they don't even know what's gonna even happen this season, I don't even think that they're even thinking about the next Doctor at the moment.
well,
Like I don't know if you know this, Russell made another TV show that's coming out like next year.
what did he do?
It's like another gay drama. Like he loves his gay dramas, but like,
Of course he does.
well, like, but like he just that's what he does. That's his specialty. But it's another like gay drama. I think he said it's going to be about man. It's a Manchester gay drama. I'll probably watch it, and it's probably going to be great. But it just shows you like that's how much he's not fully committed to Doctor Who. That Doctor Who's been in the state of limbo for so long that he was able to make another TV show. But anyways, Ben, I don't know how much you're gonna cut of this.
I'll probably have to just throw a timestamp in here saying epilogue.
Epilogue slash spoilers.
I mean, like, we don't know if it's spoilers yet.
Well, it's a leak spoiler. Like it is a leak. Some people might not want to know about the leak spoiler. That may or may not happen.
Already have a wonderful rest of your day.
Goodbye, everyone. Peace out.